Hey guys, Peugeot here, and welcome to another guide. It's been a while. Today we are going to talk about the newly released commander Cassana, and this is going to be very interesting because she is the last commander from the new batch of legendary commanders who are going to be helping with your synergies. So Cassana is a cavalry commander and she's basically going to replace Sauma in your cavalry setup. And now we are going to have a look first of all at her stats and why she is so good. Here she is, a very good design, and let's look at the stats first. You can see that she is giving you cavalry health, total attack, but also the most important thing, increasing allied cavalry versus enemy spearman damage by 15%. And this is the stats you're getting when she's level 60 gold without any awakening. Now, if she is awakened to 3 stars, these stats become 80% for the cavalry health, 40% for the total attack, and 24% for the increased cavalry versus spearman damage. Then, if you do the full awakening, like here, you are going to get a total of 106% cavalry health. You're also going to keep the 40% total attack. You're gonna get a 26% cavalry attack and total defense of 16.8%, and of course you keep the 24% cavalry versus spearman damage. So far, stat wise, very good. Now, how do you get her? Well, at the moment it's not possible to get her anymore. She was available a few days ago in the wheel that was available for 3 days. Each day you could have a free chance to get a few medals. So I was lucky, I got 3 medals, and I'm going to probably wait for the Corolla event. She might be there, we'll see, that's my guess. And the next thing we are going to look at is her 4-star skill. Here it is. So when you get her to 4 stars, this is what you get, and we'll see why this skill is very important. Now, the first part of it. At the start of the battle, Cassana performs prayer for 2 seconds, during which allied female commanders are silenced. What this means? It means she is silencing Sauma, so Sauma cannot be a part of the setup. So she's basically replacing Sauma. That's why we have this part of the skill written like this, for 2 seconds silence, so you can't use both of them at the same time, otherwise it's going to be imbalanced. But this way it's perfectly fine. After that, what you see, after the prayer, the active skill cooldown of allied female commanders is decreased by 2 seconds. What this means is that normally the commanders that you're having, they would be launching a total of 5 skills during the 40 seconds fight. But with this reduction, you are going to look at the commanders launching their active skills 6 times, and each of those has the chance to trigger Lewa Mormont's ability to have additional triggers. In a fantasy world, 6 times 5 times 4, that's a big number, but in reality it's a great addition. Also, if we look at the formation that you should be using, Daenerys will be actually casting her skill 8 times, which is going to be huge. So the skill continues and says, additionally, allied female commanders immediately cast active army skills 1 time on enemies in the front column. Coefficient 200%. At second 3, what happens? All of your commanders will be casting their skill with basically double damage. And then for each enemy lineup, let's say they have a front line of, let's say, infantry, behind them some cavalry, behind them some spear, and behind them some bow. So the front line will take 200% damage, the second line will take 150, the third line will take 100, and the last line will take only 50% damage. So Cassana is very strong when she's fighting against 4 or 3 troop types, because all of those lineups will be taking damage. If she is fighting against a single troop type, a mono, let's say, then her skill will be not as good, because the damage will be reduced. She won't kill as much. And now let's look at the setup where you should be using her. And here we have the female commander combos. Look at the first one right here. You have, of course, Leiwa giving you the female combo. You have Daenerys, Cersei, Senel, and Cassana. So how do they work together? Because normally you would have Salma, but now Cassana will replace her. So not only the skill timings are shortened, but also think about it. You have Daenerys and her skill that she will disarm commanders of the enemy. So imagine that happening much longer time with more targets, more skill activations. Then you have Cersei, who has the wildfire that is going to trigger much more times, dealing much more damage. And on top of that you have Senel that is going to be stacking much more consistently that increased damage. And with more skills that are going to be cast because of the 2-second reduction, you would have even more chances for Leiwa to trigger. This is actually increasing the potential damage that you can do by quite a lot. This is the formation that you should be using. If you have Cassana, you would have the other 3 as well. Money is no problem for you. It's going to be a massacre. Now, beside that, let's go back and let's review what else she is good for. So let's look at her strategic skill. So what does it say? Increases the cavalry attack and health by 1200% for 5 seconds, and when the commander leads the troops into battle, all commander skills are reduced by 1 second. And also there is a 40% chance to release the same skill again. So what this means is she is basically a little bit better than Leiwa. So if you're running Leiwa, you can now replace her with Cassana and you get 5% bigger chance to get an extra cast. It's good, but it's not overwhelming, just a little bit of improvement for quality of life. Then let us look at her guard skills and let's think about if she will be useful against rebel leaders, because that's also an important point that I make with every new commander. The first skill is dealing 9000 damage to the target, increasing control immunity. Important? Not really. Second, she receives a blessing, increasing her attack by 5000 whenever she receives a shield. So this is actually quite important, because imagine that you put her against a rebel leader and you have Marjorie and Egbert that are both activating shields on her. This means that you could be getting a lot of boosts, because this has no limit. As soon as she receives a shield, she gets an attack buff. So this can stack to a huge amount. So maybe this can compare with Ensu's damage, but time will tell if this will be able to do a lot of damage. We will have to test it, but on paper it looks quite serious. Then what else? She prays and grants a shield to all allies. So you have her, you have Egbert, and you have Marjorie that can give her shields. So this can potentially be a huge amount of damage. And also, she reduces skill damage taken by 40%, which is great for survivability, especially against level 6 rebel leaders. And then we are going to review her tavern. And as you can see here, she has decent stats, basically no leadership, but the combat rating is good, and she is eating desserts. So that's for the tavern. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the female combo and why it is very important that right now, next week, we are going to have the Alliance Conquest, and there are people that already have Cassana 4 stars. So my advice to you, you can attack with her with a mono rally of cavalry only. Don't open any additional troop types, because you know that the female commander's active skill damage is going to be reduced the more troop types you have in the rally. She's gonna be great for solo attacks, and she's gonna be great for monocav rallies where she's attacking a building with many troop types inside, so she can deal the maximum amount of damage. So this will be great. And at the same time, she is very, very bad in defending, because if you're a whale, if you're stuck in a building, do not tank with Cassana, because she will be useless. Basically, do not tank with female, because you know that people will inevitably put different troops in your building. So you're looking to have 3 troop types in your building, and you cannot defend with this setup, because you will be doing 3 times less damage and you're basically gonna lose every rally. And the thing is that when they are rallying you, they will be using mono rallies, not mixed ones. So in this case, you're also going to be doing not optimal damage. My advice, attack with her, but don't defend with her. Not happening. So guys, this is my overview of the Commander Cassana. Let me know if you like her, let me know if you have her already. We've seen some reports, people soloing castles, killing 15 million troops with a single hit. She is quite devastating when you solo attack castles with a lot of different troops inside. So time will tell if she will be a huge game changer. So I hope you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.